Alright, today I'm going to talk about Corpse Party Blood Covered 2. And it starts off with Yoshiki and Ayumi. They're by themselves in one of the rooms in Heavenly Host, or they're exploring Heavenly Host. And they keep arguing because Ayumi keeps bringing up Satoshi when Yoshiki's the one protecting her and not Satoshi, because Satoshi's with or was with Yuka, or is with Yuka. And then you know Naho shows up and helps them a little bit, get through the school with her teleportation, I believe. And she explains the you, the heavenly host is like starting to close up, so they have to get out of there soon, because they'll be trapped in heavenly host forever. um Yuka gets separated from Satoshi, and she's crying because she gets separated because she needs to use the restroom. um but she gets lost. She runs into to she runs into Morishige Morishige-san. And the thing is, he's taking pictures of the corpses around Heavenly Host, and he's using a crowbar, or I don't know if he does it in this manga, but in the manga he's taking pictures of them. But he's also like hitting them with the crowbar and then taking pictures of them. He's getting chased, or he's not getting chased. She's getting chased by Morishige. She runs into a female ghost. The female ghost helps her. Then she escapes. She keeps running. Her stomach hurts because she still has to use the restroom. She keeps running. Then she runs into Yuya Kizame, or Kizame Yuya. And after she runs into Kizame Yuya, he seems like a nice person to run into, and he keeps protecting her. He comes off as strong, smart, and like he has chivalry, like he's chivalrous. But Mitsuki-san, which Kizumi, I'm pretty sure, or I assume Kizumi, you know, Kizumi got rid of her. She was found with stab wounds, and Kizumi's the only one with a knife. So, and they keep traveling through the schools, keep traveling through the school, and they try to find clues. That they found clues, and then Kurosaki brings up Kizumi's older sister, uh, Haruna-san. Haruna-san. He brings up Haruna-san, Kizumi's older sister. Kizumi, he's already going mad at this point. He's always been like sociopathic since he was younger, and this kind of causes him to snap on Morishige, and then he stabs Morishige in the guts, or in the stomach, I think. Yeah, he stabs Morishige in the stomach. Or no, not Morishige. Kizumi stabs Kurosaki in the stomach. I meant Kurosaki. He stabs him in the stomach, because he mentioned Haruna-san, Kizumi's older sister, and Kizumi said he was finally free of his older sister, and he calls his older sister an awful woman. And then he, after he stabs, uh, Kurosaki, he starts laughing hysterically and says that he loves the way Kurosaki screams. And then he says something about that other chick was a waste, and that she refused to scream. And then Kurosaki, like he put two and two together, and he figured out that the other chick was Mitsuki-san. Mitsuki. Kizumi was the one who killed Mitsuki. So he so Kizumi kicks Kurosaki down after Kurosaki finds out Mitsuki was killed by Kizumi. He kicks Kurosaki down a hole, or into a hole. Then he starts laughing after he kicks down Kurosaki's cell phone as well. Then he puts away his knife. Then he starts laughing hysterically and starts saying, "None of us." Then he basically says, "None of us are making it out of here alive." And before that, like, if you want to know the story, even before this, like in that's not included in this manga. He also killed Toko, a girl that had a crush on him. He kills Toko by he kills her last. Like, he kills her last after he kills everybody else, with the exception of Kurosaki. But he like knocks out her tooth. Then she runs away from him, and she survives a really long time. And like, she's like, she gives him the ankle breaker, maneuvering around him, and she kind of still doesn't want to believe that Kizumi has been, like, a bad human being all this time. But the truth is, Kizumi's been that way since he was younger. He harmed a rabbit, and he got scolded by his older sister Haruna and his older brother. But his older sister Haruna scolded him the most. That's why, I don't know who scolded him the most, but Haruna always got on Kizumi for that. And then that's why he doesn't like when people bring up his older sister. But he chases Toko down because Toko doesn't want to believe that some guy that she fell in love with, whom was Kizumi Yuya, because he was, I guess, the good-looking guy or whatever, whatever she thought in her head, and so she didn't want him. She thought she could save Yuya, but the thing is, that turned against her because she thought her love for Kizumi would snap him out of his true nature, which is murdering everybody who's ever been a close friend to him, or even potential lover, or whatever you want to call it, to him. So, whom was Toko. And Yuka was like the first person where whom was actually able to almost snap him back into reality until he gets knocked out by that zombie guy. Or he gets knocked out by Yoshikazu, and then after that he becomes the anatomical model in the other games. But yeah, Toko is another person that liked him and could have saved him, but Kizumi was too far gone in one of the games. That's what it explained in I believe it was Book of Shadows. Corpse Party Book of Shadows, and she could have saved him, but it was already too late because Kizune was too far gone, and he became whom he truly was, and sociopathic, and he was you know murdering everybody around him, and all of his classmates and friends, one after the other from Byaku Byakudan High School, and then yeah. But other than that, I think the only person in my in my opinion who would fit with who would fit with Kizumi Yuya, like like a female love interest would be Azusa. Yeah, it would be Azusa. The that one girl with the cross, and she's kind of psychotic, and she has like a cross that has like it turns into like a long, like bladed knife. That's like the only person I could see Kizumi Yuya being with, because Kizumi Yuya is too dangerous to be with anybody else. And you know, he could have had a normal life if he had a little sister. That's why he's so obsessed with Yuka, and having Yuka as his little sister was because he got tired of being looked down upon because he was the youngest out of all of his siblings. So he wanted Yuka to be his little sister, so he had something to love and protect. But he was too far gone, too twisted, too sociopathic, that he was getting dangerous. And Kizumi Yuya, he was like too far gone to be saved by anybody. Yuka almost saved him, but like I said, I think his name's Yoshikazu. Yeah, Yoshikazu knocks him out with a sledgehammer. Sachiko wouldn't be able to do it herself. So Yoshikazu knocks him out with a sledgehammer after Kizumi almost. This was in one of the games after Kizumi he almost had a change of heart because he felt bad for Yuka. Um, he started to feel bad for Yuka, and him feeling those feelings because he wasn't used to feeling like sympathy for other people, and he always envied other people, even though he was popular with the ladies. Uh, he always envied other human beings in general. So he was like having a mental breakdown because Yuka was starting to get through to him, and I don't know if he started to regret what he did to Toko and everybody else, but I have a feeling he probably did. That might be headcanon. But Yuka almost saved him right when he was about to have a change of heart. He gets knocked out by Yoshikazu, and Sachiko uh, takes Yuya Kizumi. And Yuya Kizumi later in the other games he comes back as the anatomical model, but also in the other games, like it kind of like starts all over. So he's an enemy again, and he's a bad guy again. So Toko and everybody else, Yuka, they all have to relive those scenarios again. So yeah, and it was even shown in Sachiko's Sweet Birthday Bash, the game, Corpse Party Sachiko's Sweet Birthday Bash, that Yuya Kizumi, if he had a little sister or if he had little sisters, he would have been normal, a normal older brother, and would have had a normal life. Because Elder Cthulhu grants his wish if he wins in the wrong end, and Sachiko, uh, Yuka, and Satsuki become his little sisters, and he has a pretty normal life. And he could have had a normal life if he had a little sister, because he always wanted a little sister because he was the youngest of his siblings, and he always felt looked down upon, and they kept scolding him for like harming little rabbits and stuff. And I have a feeling that's why he keeps saying "run, rabbit, run," because when he's chasing Yuka, he like feels like he's chasing the rabbit that he chased when he was younger. So yeah, and that's probably another reason why he's obsessed with Yuka. Not only that he wants a little sister, but that he has like a weird obsession, some weird obsession that I can't quite figure out why I could probably figure it out, but I don't know if I'm exactly right what his obsession is. But I think he just has an obsession with like, you know, small like rabbits or any small creatures. That's what I've heard from somebody. And so point being, Kizumi Yuya is somebody who probably needs a lot of mental therapy. Probably needs he probably needs Toko. Toko probably would have been able to save him, or or Azusa. Or Azusa would make him worse because Azusa's insane as well. But Toko probably would have been able to save him, make him normal. If Yuka was able to become his little sister, he probably would have became normal. And he probably would have been able to be saved if he stopped what he was doing, like, murdering his friends or whatever, or like and keep turning on his friends. He probably would have had a normal life. Kizumi Yuya would have been a normal character, or he would have turned out to be pretty a pretty good guy, and not so bad guy, and not a bad guy. He probably would have turned out to be a good guy and not a bad guy. And yeah, Kizumi Yuya would have turned out to be a good guy, not a bad guy. Uh, Toko would have became Kizumi's wife, I assume. This is all headcanon. But Toko might have became his wife, and then he probably would have became normal. And he still would have his friends, including Kurosaki and everybody else. And Mitsuki, all of his friends from Byakudan High School. But yeah, Kizumi Yuya, it didn't turn out that way for Kizumi Yuya. He turned out to be a murderous sociopath, which isn't good. Like, he became a sociopath, and he would have been able to be normal if he had a little sister, or if he let Toko like talk him out of him murdering his friends around him, and snapped him back to reality. But that wasn't possible for Kizumi Yuya. And like, if Kizumi thought that Heavenly Host was in here they call it Tenjin Elementary. They call it Tenjin Elementary in this book. But he probably thought Heavenly Host Elementary, which was Sachiko's school before she was, murdered by, I believe, her teacher, who wanted to be with Sachiko's mother, but she refused, and then he murders, I believe, both of them. Arigato gozaimasu for watching this Corpse Party Blood Cover 2 review, manga review, and have a nice morning. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you. Sayonara. Ryuzaki. Out.